Hey, good afternoon, everybody. This is your Conflict Choices vlog for Wednesday, June 24. I'm your host, Dr. Everton A. Ennis, and welcome. Thank you so much for allowing me to invade your lunchtime today as I share with you a few words about conflict. Please be sure to check out my website. It's up above. That's classactseminars.com. And today I put /shop because I want you to go check out my shopping cart, see what's there, and make sure you get a copy of that goodie right there. So again, thank you so much for joining me. This is the lunch break conflict choices vlog. I come to you every weekday at lunchtime Eastern time with a few words about conflict. Today I want to talk with you about a very important topic. And I entitled it, Let's Agree to Disagree. Let's agree to disagree. Now, in my book, which you're going to find above at that link, I list that there are 7 types of causes of conflict. 7 types of causes. Not 7 causes, but types of causes. And that particular 7th type of cause is the mishandling of disagreements, the mishandling of disagreements. At the very beginning, 3.5 weeks ago, I shared with you that there are many who view disagreement as being synonymous with conflict. This is not actually correct. Because of this mindset, this way of looking at it, there are folk who are unwilling or hesitant to disagree. And there are folk who, when they are disagreed with, they take it so personal. And as a result, conflict is the result. I want to kind of unpack that for you here this afternoon. And so we are talking about let's agree to disagree. Now, why is this important? I want to break this down in 2 different ways. First, we're going to look at the person who disagrees and what sometimes happens when we attempt to disagree with someone for whatever reason. Then we're going to flip a coin. We're going to look at the person who is disagreed with and see what are some of the tendencies when we are disagreed with. And by the way, every human being plays both roles. We disagree with someone, and then someone disagrees with us as well. So we play the dual roles. And so we're going to look at what are some of our tendencies when we are on either side of the same coin there. So let's say that we are the person who disagrees. We're the one who we're disagreeing with someone for some reason. Sometimes we express our disagreement in an inappropriate manner. Sometimes we just approach that situation with entirely the wrong attitude. We yell at someone or we come across very judgmentally or something of that nature because we didn't process the approach, and we fail to recognize sometimes that the approach is everything. The approach is everything. And then sometimes we have the wrong motive. The wrong motive. Can you believe it? Yes, we can actually have the wrong motive for disagreeing with someone. And this is very common. It's more common than we hate to admit. Motive, of course, has to do with the cause or the purpose or the reason. And sometimes we disagree because we don't like the person. Sometimes we disagree because we want to be disruptive. Sometimes we disagree because we think that there's a consequence maybe to ourselves if a certain decision is followed through with. And so there are all kinds of reasons or motives that we have. And sometimes those are not necessarily the best or most positive reasons for disagreeing. If we go into a church setting, for example, this comes into play so significantly because sometimes you have board meetings or church business meetings that disintegrate into utter chaos and confusion and hurt feelings because somebody arises and they say something, their motive is not right, and sometimes they're disagreeing and people follow them in their disagreement, not really realizing why this person is really opposed to this particular measure or decision that the church is trying to make. Then, of course, there's a disagreeable attitude. A disagreeable attitude is where we find ourselves disagreeing, just incessantly disagreeing. And that turns just everybody off. We all have to check ourselves. If we find ourselves just persistently, consistently disagreeing, especially with the same person, more times than we agree, then maybe we need to back up just a little bit. Or let me rephrase. Probably we need to back way up. We need to back up and check ourselves because you know what? We could be wrong. So if we find ourselves disagreeing more than we agree, then we got to really look at that. What's driving us? Then another thing that we can do when we're the one disagreeing, we can find that we disagree from failure to rely on facts. This is why I advocate, check stuff out before you raise your hand. Check stuff out before you use your tongue. Check stuff out before you use those fingers on that keyboard, on your phone or on your tablet or your computer. Check stuff out first. Make sure that if you're going to disagree, you have some sound basis for doing so. And that basis can only and should only be facts. Anybody who knows me closely for 5 minutes will tell you I only care about facts. I'm sorry. I only care. I care about your opinion, but it's got to be based on facts, because we don't have that much time to be dealing with stuff that's not factual. And so don't allow a situation, especially a relationship, to disintegrate, to deteriorate, because we are insisting on not basing intelligent discussions and decisions on facts. And then finally, in terms of when we are the one who disagrees, we want to make sure that we don't develop this thing of being just critical. Critical is always pointing out something that's wrong. So when we disagree, don't come across as just wrong. Leave the possibility open for further dialogue. Don't be someone who is judgmental and fault finding. We can disagree, we can express our disagreements in ways that are more positive, in ways that enhance relationship, in ways that make it easier for people to want to listen to the reason why we express a disagreement with a particular decision or direction. All right, so now let's flip the coin. So we've looked at the person who disagrees and what sometimes are the tendencies in that expression of disagreement. Let's flip that coin and look at now when we are the ones who are being disagreed with. The first thing I want to say, in fact, this goes both ways, whether you're the one disagreeing at that point in time or the one who's being disagreed with. Very important lesson, what I'm telling you right now. Don't make it personal. It's so important to not make it personal, especially if you're in a workplace environment or you're in a church environment. Maybe one-to-one with your spouse, your child. Maybe there's something personal, but even so, seek to express or seek to receive disagreement in a non-personal way. Even if it has to do with you, seek to make it non-personal. The minute you start making it personal, down goes that situation. All right? So then, of course, when we're being disagreed with, sometimes we fail to recognize and to acknowledge the other person's right to disagree. And that has to do with emotional intelligence. I'm going to spend perhaps a day or two dealing with emotional intelligence at some upcoming time when we're doing this vlog. But we've got to recognize and respect the right of every human being to have a different way of seeing the thing. All right? No two people were created by God to be exactly alike all the time on every single situation that we can encounter in this life. It's just not like that. And so we've got to be emotionally mature. We've got to demonstrate, we got to develop and demonstrate emotional intelligence where it is okay for people to disagree and we still get along. We still get the job done. Spend some time, Google emotional intelligence. It will bless your life. Believe me when I tell you that. And of course, there is of course it's coming off of recognizing and appreciating the other person's right to disagree is to also acknowledge that there are times when people need to disagree. So on the one hand, there's the right to disagree, and then there is the need to disagree. Sometimes there's a need. You know what may prevent us from not being able to appreciate a person's need and even their right to disagree? Something called narcissism. Narcissism. A narcissist has a very hard time hearing the word no, having somebody see things a little bit differently, because they think they know everything. They are the brightest, they're the most intelligent, they are the greatest, they're the preeminent one in the group, and they're not very open to others' points of view. And so we want to check ourselves with this. If you find that you have a very difficult time accepting someone with a disagreeing perspective, If you always want somebody to agree with you, you may have a problem. You may have a problem. And so I would encourage you to think this through, process this a little bit longer, pray over this, and even if it's really a problem, seek some professional help. Okay? Because no one has all the answers. No one has all the component parts that are required to lead. In my pastoral ministry, and I'm just going to say this, we do well. Notice how I said that we do well, not I do well. We do well because it's always about the team. It's always about the group. It's always about us. The minute, and I teach pastors this, I teach church members, the minute we think it's about us, the minute we think that this group cannot do without us, that's exactly when they can do without us. In that moment, they can actually do without us. If I, as a pastor, a spiritual leader, get to the place where I think this church needs me, or God better be glad I'm here, that I need to just go ahead and pack my stuff and leave, because at that point, he has absolutely no use for me at that point, unless of course I repent. But narcissism and just watch the news and you see what I'm talking about. You see what narcissism looks like. Yeah, I don't have to say anything more about that. But it ruins stuff, it wrecks stuff, it tears stuff up, and it's actually not very bright. It's not intelligent. And now it's a mental disorder. It's a personality disorder. So in some ways, people, I guess, can't help themselves unless they're counseled or in some cases treated. Now, I want to close by saying disagreements are normal and natural and healthy. This is a favorite saying of mine. People have been knowing me to say this for at least 2 decades now. Disagreements are normal and natural and healthy. And when you think about it this way, it helps you as an individual to better process how you disagree and how you receive other people's disagreements. Why do I say it's normal? Because there's nothing strange about it. It is what it is. If you live on this planet, you just have to accept that people are going to disagree, and it's okay. It's normal. There's nothing foreign or strange or unearthly about it. There's nothing wrong about it. There's nothing morally decrepit about it. It's normal. If you live here, expect it. Okay? You do it. You may not want to admit it, but you do it. You probably do it more than you realize or more than you are willing to admit. But every human being disagrees at some point, many points of the day. We see something on the news. We don't think that sounds right. We disagree. So disagreement is normal. Then, of course, disagreement is natural. Why is it natural? Because no two people are exactly alike. It would be unnatural if we all thought the same thing about every single thing and situation in life. That would be so unnatural. And frankly, if I were to run into somebody who agrees with me every single time, I'd be scared. There's absolutely no way I would think that person could be. It cannot be genuine to agree with me every single time about every situation in life. It's just impossible. Is something wrong with me or something wrong with that person? I'm sorry. And that's why, for example, in our church board meetings, we don't have drama. You'll see me come on Facebook and I will brag about my church board meetings because I get this. This is how I lead. And I pass this on to my people. This is just a wonderful way to live. And of course, disagreements are healthy. They're healthy because it's good to gain the perspectives of others. My members will tell you, I'll introduce an idea and I'll tell them, walk around it, kick it, talk about it with each other, but just don't scratch the paint and don't destroy the idea. But have a go at it. And I'm always confident that at the end of the day, it's going to be better than what I put on the table because more people were able to weigh in. There were perspectives that I've not thought of, that I'm not able to think of because I didn't have that person's experience and that person's experience. And everybody's perspective is valuable. And we've got to think like that. We've got to live like that if we're going to enjoy and be productive in this life. So let's agree to disagree because it's okay. Disagreements are normal. They are natural and they are healthy if we do them the right way. Thank you for allowing me to spend some time with you today to share just a few words about conflict. Enjoy the rest of your lunch and be sure to check out my website that's up above, classactseminars.com. And today I added /shop because I want you to go there and do some shopping. Learn from my products and what I've done in terms of life experience, pastoral ministry, and research, and teaching this for quite over 17 years now, so that you can be blessed and your relationships enriched. Thank you so much for allowing me to spend some time with you today. God bless.